So, original characters, or OCs for short, what are they? An OC is kind of like a fictional character that you yourself come up with. In my opinion, any fictional character that comes from the brain can be considered the creator's OC. Yes, that means famous works like Percy Jackson or even The Great Gatsby contain the author's OCs. Yes, this is a really silly concept, but no, that's not what we're talking about today. Today's topic is more about lesser known OCs, such as the ones the average person comes up with. Today, we're covering the psychology behind original characters and coping with the creative mind. Now, aside from storytelling, why might a person create OCs? The most common answer I found in my research was escapism. An individual can create a whole different world for their character. The reason for this is often as a coping mechanism to escape from the troubles that the real world faces. Or, alternatively, pouring all of their real world troubles into one place to better deal with the world outside. The design of an OC can also explain a lot about not just them, but their creators as well. If a person wants a character to feel like themselves, they might make the character look like themselves. This is called a persona. Or, if someone wants an escape, the character might look entirely different. To learn more about OC creation, I set up a few interview questions. 1. How many OCs do you have, and are they all from the same story? 2. How did you design your persona? 3. When did you make your first OC? 4. What are the purposes of your OCs? These were some of the answers I got.
All right. How many OCs do I have? I have at least a few dozen. At least, like, that I can think of off the top of my head. And they're not all for the same story. I have, like, probably a dozen from each individual, like, little story that I've thought of in my head, just lingering there. I guess my most recent one that I've been using, which kind of ended up just becoming a character on its own, was pretty much like the design process where it was, oh, I want to model this after me, but more so my ideal or how I liked myself best. And I wanted to add in like animal elements and stuff because that was always like a thing that I did with characters. And so I kind of went into some research of, okay, when I picture myself as an animal, like, what do I think? And it's always been kind of like, I think of myself very dog or wolfish and stuff, which is so cliche. But I kind of did some research on that. I was like, oh, in Korea, there used to be like native wolves and they're like Mongolian wolves and stuff. And I guess when I'm thinking of persona, this is like specifically my like PNG tuber, because that's kind of the most recent actual persona that I used of like something representing me, because the other one turned into a character. But yeah, I did some research and I found out about Mongolian wolves, and so I added that into my design aspect for that persona. And I added like little wings as well that were specifically modeled after like probably a couple different like corvids and stuff, cuz like I love birds. They're one of my favorite things, and I like have done a lot of research into birds, and so it's like I have to do something with birds on here and like add in some features here that are like, oh, this is important to me, like showing that I'm Korean and my Korean heritage with the Mongolian wolf, and showing my love for birds with the wings, my like putting in things that show my favorite colors, like all these little things that represent me as a person, I would say. Oh boy, my first OC. Well, I actually remember my first OC very, very vividly. Her name was Honora, and she was a wolf who had a messed up front paw from, I believe it was from being caught in a trap. And I made this OC due to a like wolf roleplay game on Roblox. This was when I was like, I'm gonna say when I was 8. I was pretty young when I made this character. I made this character, Nora, and it was purely for this game. And I would draw her all the time. But yeah, I made her for that game, and that's like it. But there's one design aspect that I did with her that I have kept with every single one of my main characters since: two feathers placed somewhere on the body, just like as an accessory. Always put that design aspect because of like how important that first OC was to me. I think my OCs always serve like different purposes depending on like why I'm making them. I mean, if I'm making them and they're just like fully original characters of mine, um like they're always serving a purpose in the story that I'm creating with them. This character is here to provide a reason for why main character acts the way they are. This character is here to provide a voice of reason. But I have other OCs that are just for fun. They don't serve much of a purpose of like, oh, like they're important to this like storyline I'm creating. They're just for fun. And because I go, oh, I love this thing, I want to create something for it.
So, why does this matter? Well, it's simple. In a world where reality can be crushing, escape is a necessary way to cope with it. I know from personal experience that not all educators are understanding of the struggles their students face. Because of this, creativity and expression through OC creation is often shut down before it ever truly has the chance to start. I taught a lesson on character creation and design in a middle school a few years ago, and it was definitely a unique experience. Every student had different ideas for how to create characters to express themselves. They all made OCs and continued to draw them throughout my time there. In conclusion, OCs are an important part of helping some students learn. By letting a student take their education into their own hands and allowing them to mold it in their own ways, you as an educator are opening doors that the student might take longer to notice if they were shut down. So, when you see a kid doodling in class, please let them. Sometimes it's just their own way of learning.